And welcome to another episode of Witchcraft Chats. And come on in and sit for a spell. Sponsored by Evermoving We Rise and Moonlight Potions and Charms. I am your amazing goddess host, Miss Nikki Kirby. And we are joined by the chaos magician himself. He flew in from Texas, that hot ass state. Yes. Texas, the Texas Mojo Man. His name is Saul Ravencraft. How are you doing, Saul?
I'm doing great, Nikki. How are you today?
I'm doing fine. I'm awesome. It's a little cool here this morning, and I like it.
Yeah, it's cooled off here too as well, which is a very pleasant difference from months of triple digits.
Yes, and October has begun. Yay! Oh, so I bet you started going into haunted houses, haven't you?
No, I don't necessarily have as much time to do that sort of thing as I used to. Last weekend was a couple of events. Between a festival and doing readings for a fantastic fest party. I probably did about 60 readings over the weekend, which, you know, even when they're quick ones, they still draw on you. And I did a mediumship gathering virtually with some other folks on Monday, which was interesting. We had some good validation across the different participants for what we were doing, so that was fascinating. And last night I did a house party for some folks where we explored things and did more readings, and there's stuff coming up, so it's you know, people are starting to get the ball rolling there, I guess. And if you want to keep up with anything that's public, just look for me on Facebook. I'm the only Saul Ravencraft executive occultist that I know. So pretty easy to find, and that's the best way to follow what's going on with me. Now, you've always got a gazillion things going on because you are the working witch. What's going on with you, Nikki?
Oh, you know, there's always something that's always going on where I'm at, right? Well, you know, when it comes to Evermoving We Rise, we always have something that's going on. So on the 14th of October, we have our Samhain ritual that we're going to do. And you know what? I'm really looking forward to it. Samhain has always, ever since I was little, and before I knew that I was actually a witch, I've always enjoyed Samhain, because Samhain was the one time of year where I could actually be myself. And I was so happy. And nobody cared. Nobody cared. And it was fun. So Samhain is one of the great things. So you need to come to our ritual and see what spooky, wicked things that Evermoving We Rise is going to do. So come to our Facebook page. and see what we're going to do. And on the 1st November, we're going to do our annual Ancestor blessing ritual. So come on and see what we do. And all of that is in our summary. And then with Moonlight Potions and Charms, ooh, we got new products. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. We got new altars on the go for Baron Sam D and Mama Bridge J. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. We got our skeleton trio that came back. We have them. We have so many new products. And our ancestor readings. Oh my God. They are amazing. Along with our phone readings that we do. And so much more that we do. So come on in to Moonlight Potions and Charms. And get your reading and get anything else that you need, including your candles and your Florida water and everything else. And then on October 22nd, now this is going to be the annual Pet Fest at Morse Park in Lake Lure, North Carolina from 10 to 2. And it's supposed to be for Paws. And Paws is the ones that paid for my baby's Daisy's surgery, for her surgery. And they were able to take the cyst off of her belly. And yes, she is doing so much better. A little puppy. She's doing so much better. And so this is a chance for you guys to come with your family and your pets to have some fun, eat food, and dance to the music. And there's going to be vendors from the Western North Carolina, and they're going to be tailored to your pet. There's going to be a raffle, and local animal rescues will bring animals out so you can be able to adopt them. And of course, Moonlight Potions and Charms, we're going to be there. And we are going to have so many different items, including some absolutely wonderful signs. And we're going to have some gnomes. We're going to have so much fun while we're there. So come on out. It's going to be there from rain or shine. And all of that information is going to be in our summary. And you know what? Witch Hat Chats, we have expanded. Have we not, Saul?
Oh, yes, indeed.
We are going anywhere and everywhere. We can go with you now, no matter where you are. We're on Spotify, Amazon Music, and Apple Podcasts, and so much more. Just go to our link tree to find out where we're going to go next. Ooh, fun things in October, right?
You bet.
So do you want to know what our divination is?
Of course, always.
All right. So everybody knows that I drink a tea from Yogi, and it's positive energy tea. And they have a little, I call it a divination on their little tea thingy. We call it the tea thingy on the tea baggie. That's the technical term, tea thingy. And on it today, it said, believe in yourself. You are braver than you think, more talented than you know, and more capable of more than you imagine. Ooh. So wise Texas Mojo Man, what does that mean?
Well, Mama always told me I was special.
And she was right, wasn't she?
Yep, very special. Bless my heart.
So special you lead people down the rabbit hole.
Yeah, yeah, I suppose so. Uh, well, I mean, we all have potential, and we all have a lot of unrecognized potential, and hopefully we will find our way to reaching what we need to.
Well, I think that a lot of people believe things about themselves that they think others think about them, and it's not necessarily the truth.
I think that's fair.
Mm-hmm. And, you know, that's their own self-doubt. That's their own conditional self talking about them is what it is, talking to them, making them doubt themselves. And they really need to shut it up.
I think there's also context involved. I think many people find themselves in situations where they're not really shown hope, they're not really shown respect. And sometimes it's just ignorance. People don't know how to be with each other. And I think sometimes it's a game. Some people always need to be on top, and the way that they handle that is they put down and belittle the other people around them. And sometimes you have to just suck that up because you're doing what you need to do, and you can't easily separate from that space. But sometimes you need to make some changes, and you have to separate yourself from those conditions. And that can be hard to do because sometimes it's people that you care about. And if you're not able to have the discussion, have the understandings to change the behavior, you may have to change the environment.
Mm-hmm.
That's challenging. Sometimes those are hard choices to make because you do need to be able to stand your ground. You can't always run away. You can't always go, oh, you made me unhappy, so I can't. So now you're toxic, and I can't have you in my life anymore. That's a quick way to be all alone, because there is no escape from some kind of offense or disappointment.
Well, there's also another way. You know, I remember being 16 years old, and I was having problems with my car. And Mom told me to take it to the mechanic. And of course, the mechanic wasn't there. His older son, who was in probably his mid-20s, looked at my car, and he was telling me that it was a battery and it was going to cost me a lot of money and all this other stuff. And I looked at that battery. I says, all you got to do is get the corrosion off of it. And he says, well, it's going to take, blah, 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 and all this other stuff. I said, hell, get me a Coca-Cola. He's like, that ain't going to do anything. And I looked at him, I said, did you ever graduate high school? And here I am, I'm 16 years old. And he's got his group of friends, and they're all, blah, blah, you're a girl, you don't know anything about cars. I went to the machine, I got a Coca-Cola. I said, let me give you a basic chemistry, lesson. Turned around, took that Coca-Cola, I poured it on that corrosion, took all that corrosion away. I said, there, I just saved myself $300. Thank you for that lesson, boys. Got in my car, left.
Yeah, there are situations where people underestimate. We have a car outfit that we've worked with for a while, and my wife got very frustrated because they they would call me to tell me things about the car, even though her number was on the order. And I would say, well, you should talk to my wife because it's her car. Yeah. And we went through a round of that, and there was this one particular rep that seemed to be pretty consistent about that. And last time we had to take the car, we liked the work there, but we just didn't like working with that guy. And she took it in, and they were going to hand her over to this guy. And she said, could I work with someone else? This guy seems to have difficulty working with women. And they were slightly taken aback, but they gave her a different rep to work with, and she got accurate, regular updates on the work and was treated with great respect. Yeah, you have to sometimes stand up when you can.
Yeah. I had a landlord who would, he wouldn't accept payments from me. He would only accept payments from my ex-husband. I said, so let me understand this. And he was from India. I said, so you're telling me you're not going to accept payments from me because I was the only one that would handle the money. The goddess knows you could not let my ex-husband handle money. I said, so you're going to sit here and turn around and tell me that you're not going to accept money from me? He's like, no, women cannot handle money. I said, so I am recording this, and you're telling me because you will not accept money from me, then we are going to live here scot-free. He's like, what? I said, you're telling me that because you're not accepting money from me, and I am trying to give you rent money right here, that we are going to live scot-free right here. He's like, no. I said, well, then you will accept money from me.
Just put that rent in escrow until you accept it.
No, I had to be, honey, when it comes to women, we are pushed over so much by men. And we are the ones that are always told by men, we don't know what we're doing half the time. And I'm like, okay, let's see about that. I was told one time that I didn't know what the color of paint, what the three letters, because paint on cars have three letters, and you can find it on the door of the car. And I was told that I was having the wrong code of the paint on the car. And I kept telling the guy this code, and he's like, this is the wrong code. You don't have the right code. I said, yes. I said, I am the only one in this small town that has purple for my car. Sure. And he went out there, and of course, it was the same code. Because I told him, this is where you look. I've had to do that a long time when it comes to guys. And it's because of the way that society has taught men to make women beneath them. So ladies, you need to stand up. You need to stand up and just say, And when they're running their mouths, just go do your own thing. I do.
Yes, you do.
All right. And with that, here's a word from our wonderful sponsors. And we'll be right back.
I'm Saul Ravencraft, co-host of Witch Hat Chats. I understand just how confusing and chaotic it can be to open to a path of magic and manifestation. Everything seems to turn on its head. I want to be an ally as you find the way upon your path. My studio setup will let us do readings, coaching and exploration virtually, just as though you were sitting across the table from me. One size does not fit all, and we will work together to craft the right approaches to build your practice, your confidence, and your power using the tools of divination, magical works, and spirit connections. It's never too late to embrace a new path and emerge empowered. Go to TexasMojoMan.com and select Contact to begin. There's a message now. Let's get started working on your very good fortune.
We are all magical beings. As a solitary magical practitioner, you can grow and develop yourself independently. Yet, the solitary path can be difficult and lonely with setbacks and self-doubts, and as you find your way without affirmations, reinforcements, or a safe space to practice, what do you do when things bump back? At Evermoving We Rise, our name is our lifestyle. We realize that everyone's spiritual journey is extremely personal, but more easily traveled with reinforcement. We teach you to understand and use the magical tools at your fingertips, while being upheld and developing personal responsibility for your own spirituality. We have a safe space to practice and learn as you master your craft. When situations bump back, you will have the entire community behind you, as we are a magical family who work to sustain each other. Discover the benefits of working within a society dedicated to helping you grow on your personal path. Start today. Visit us at our website, Linktree, or Facebook page and discover why we don't fit in the box. Have you heard? People are raving about Moonlight potions and charms with 5-star reviews. 5 stars for excellent products, amazing services, and fast shipping. We are an Etsy star seller. Listen to some of our reviews. Author and owner of Wicked Witch Studios, Dorothy Morrison said, "I'm in love. The Marie Laveau Altar on the Go is absolutely amazing and jam-packed with everything one could possibly need, no matter what sort of magic they're planning. Kudos on a great product." Jess said, "Absolutely love the Papa Legba prayer candle. I've been hunting for a good Papa Legba candle forever with zero success, and I adore this one." High Priestess said, "Adorable wooden coffins. Can't wait to use them." And Angelica said about our Ancestor oil, "Exceeded my expectations. Packaged with love and smells amazing. Definitely recommending and buying again." Make sure to check out our Bubbling Cauldron Bath Bombs, available in Luck of the Irish, Lavender, and Dragon's Blood. Our magical milk baths are also available in Papa Legba Purification, White Flowers, Lucky Love, and Bam Bam. All are homemade and spelled with love, care, and intention. Our Happily Ever After candle line is designed with you in mind. There is so much more in our Wicked store to help you to embrace the power of your own magic. So come on in to Moonlight Potions and Charms at www.moonlightpotionscharms.com and discover the wicked things that ignite the magical passion in you.
And welcome back to Witch Hat Chats. I am Saul Ravencraft. I am here, of course, with Miss Nikki Kirby, but we are not alone, are we?
We're never alone. Even when you're in the bathroom, you're never alone.
This
Isn't
is
that
true.
spooky?
There's usually a cat there somewhere.
Think about that the next time you're trying to pee. Ooh.
Dignity, always dignity.
And you will only find that fact on Witch Hat Chats. All right, so you want to hear who our guest host is, Mr. Saul?
You betcha.
Okay, so internationally recognized as a medicine person, this guest host derives from a long line of spiritual leader ancestors from the Navajo Nation. She obtained her doctorate degree in leadership. This amazing woman has won countless awards, including 2015 Woman of the Year Award from the National Association of Professional Women and 2022's gold winner under Shamanism and Paganism of the COVR Visionary Awards. As she dedicates her life to inspire, encourage, and empower people to be their authentic selves, she also has time to write books, as she is an award-winning author. Do you realize this woman, she does all this amazing stuff, and she also decides, hey, what the hell, let's write books so I can be able to amaze and help all these other people. You know, her written works include Wisdom of the Natural World, and her latest book is Belief, Being, and Beyond. We are proud to present Granddaughter Crow. How you doing, hon?
Oh, hello, hello, hello. Thank you. Thank you for having me on this show. And I am honored to be here and looking forward to some lovely conversations. Thanks for such a beautiful introduction. And let's do this, Miss Nikki.
Oh, all right. So, what have you been up to?
So, since I released my book, Belief, Being, and Beyond, that came out June of 2022, I have been doing a lot of social media and going out. Oh my, I went out to Washington, D.C. to do a book signing at the American Library Association. I was over at INATS, which is the International New Age Trade Show. Just really having a lot of fun. And now I've got to hunker down now that it is October, time to kind of hunker down, do that magic. And I am working on my next book, which will be about changing the internal narrative. Like what you were talking about, like this internal narrative around a story that we continue to have, or society has told women that they need to be XYZ. This book is going to be like, how do you hear your own narrative, that story that keeps playing in your mind, the position that you keep putting yourself into? And then how do we change that to live a more beautiful current life and future magical life?
So a lot of people don't seem to understand the Native American way, okay? And you being Navajo, which is one of many different tribes. So what is it like for the Navajo magic? I'm trying to find the words.
No, I hear you. I hear you. And this is where I'm going to throw down, because I like to say I was First Nation, I was Native American before it was cool. Like now it's cool, but I'm X-Gen. And so when I was back in the 70s, I had a very difficult time being in public and things. I also have a Dutch heritage as well. So I'm like who am I? Who am I? Which I think is one of
Right.
the main reasons why I ask people to be their authenticity, because I had to figure out how to be my authenticity. So my father is 90 years old. Quick history lesson that puts him back in the day in the 1930s, when the Native American were taken from, in his case, the Hogan, the dwelling, and in Navajos, we have a Hogan, and put into boarding school and residential schools, and denied his language, denied his hair, his culture, and he had to behave in a different way, which at that point was a more, less his culture and more a culture that was unknown. So he actually adopted that culture of the white body Christianized thinking and went to seminary school, and that's where he met my mom. So although I was raised as a Navajo, but I was also raised a little bit up here in Denver, Colorado, versus where I was born on the res in New Mexico. So it's kind of like one of those things. And so when I decided, who am I, and how do I want to express myself in this world, I ended up going back, kind of like frog leaping over that and going back to my grandfather's ways and my Aunt Alice, both medicine people, both who are on the other side now. And so with the Native American magic, I would say the way that I engage with it is to engage in the natural world and to know that you are a part of the natural world, and to know that if you see a hawk, chances are that hawk saw you first and is allowing you to see it. When you touch that tree, however it is vibrationally, that tree on whatever level knows that you're touching it. So it's kind of like this beautiful way about remembering that we are the natural world. And I'm going to just take another minute and say, the Native American is the closest example of what that looks like. However, irregardless of what your ethnic background is, who your ancestors are, up to Europe, over to India, whatever it is, there was a time in everybody's history that they all sat around the fire. They all had a medicine person. They all had a clan. And so I'm just an example to be here to remind you, you might need to jump back a few generations, but that fun, witchy, pagan, whatever you want to call it, expression is right outside your door, you know?
Mm-hmm. You know, what you were saying, you grew up in a time in which now being a Native American is more cool. Me, I'm a redhead. So when I grew up in a time in which, because being a redhead now is, they finally, decided, hey, being a redhead is cool. And I was cool long before they even decided, because growing up as a redhead, I was Satan's child. I was the reason why everything went wrong, whether I was there or not, whether I even had anything to do with it or not. So I get it. I get it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's, I think that if an individual recognizes, most individuals will find a time when they were silenced because of another person's belief system. Whether it's a female, whether it's a nationality, whether it's the color of your hair. There are times when society belief systems or structures ostracize individuals, and that's one of those really harmful things that I stand on the side of the other, the person who was ostracized, whether it's red hair, nationality, whatever.
yeah, and you know, people turn around and say, well, you've never experienced discrimination. I'm like, excuse me.
Right.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. All females have experienced some form of discrimination
Yes.
in one way or another.
Yes.
And me being redhead, it wasn't just you know, that. It was also the fact that it was so much more when it came to that. So yeah, I understand that. And I have always been attracted to the Native American way because of animals. I was always able to communicate with animals in ways that people weren't. It's just like you heard me talking to my dog Daisy. I'm able to talk to dogs, and I'm able to talk to animals in ways people are not. And I'm able to calm them down when they can't calm down themselves. And I remember when I worked at PetSmart, and before they would even, you know, I knew that some of them was going to start something. And I said, don't you dare start something. And people would look at me like, what? I said, I'm not talking to you, I'm talking to him. Don't you dare. and the dog would look at me, and I'm like, don't you dare. And they're like, okay. And they would just walk on away, you know. It's something that's always fascinated with me. And I believe that I am connected, but it's not 1/16. I think you have to be 1/16. I think it's, you know, probably smaller than that. But I've always felt that way. And what few books I've been able to get a hold of, I'm like, this makes so much more sense to me than other ones do.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, I really enjoyed what you said at the beginning when you were saying that October as a child was a time when you could be yourself. I really thought, yes. And then as we grow up, we get to, hey, I get to Samhain all year round, you know, all the year round. And I get to connect, and I get to talk with animals, talk with the trees, you know, and there's a concept for your listeners that I'd love to share with your listeners. It's the concept of animism. So go look up animism. It means that there is what I like to describe it as everything has a consciousness. And when we realize that everything has a consciousness, then we interact with it more witchy. And it seems crazy, but it's actually honoring the life that we're living, and the items that we have, and the animals that we get to connect with. Yeah, I love it. And that's how I am too. I'll talk to my printer. I'll talk to my computer. You know, I talk to, you know, my water. I'm like, thank you. You know, I was thirsty. Thank you. So, and it just makes it like more playful. I think that that's one of the keys to being magical, is to find that inner child and encourage that inner child to be aware of this animistic world that we live in and play. Simple as that.
Well, you know, I tell my students, it's called the little witch. You have to honor the little witch. You have to put something on your altar that honors the little witch, because that is where your magic comes from. But, you know, when it comes to the little witch is the part that's inside of you that is the one that has no filters. And what I mean by filters is all the discriminations that gives you, you know, the race, the religions, the all the things that you're not allowed to do, you know, all the limitations that you're told that you can't do. Like, for example, gravity will bring you down. Well, the little witch has no concept of that. Okay, there is no limitations when it comes to that. And I tell my people to go and talk to your little witch. What ideas does your little witch have?
I love it.
Especially when you're frustrated. and go play with her or him, whatever. And even when it comes to your shadow work, you need to go and work with the little witch, because the little witch will have ideas and will tell you exactly what happened through their eyes. Now, you may not like what the little witch has to say, but they're honest and they're innocent.
Yes.
And they will tell you what it is because they have no filters.
Yes. Yes, I agree. And, I was listening to the first part of the show and your little tea thing about believing in yourself. So I'm like, believe in the little witch, believe in the little witch. I absolutely love it. And it is, I think you're spot on, that with the filters, they're not programmed to think a certain way. They just see the world. And I think that that's so healthy and so much fun too. Honor the little witch. I love it. I love it.
We were talking earlier about sometimes having to change your context to find your authenticity. And in the foreword of your book, you described some of the change that you made. And you made it very simple that you had to go back a little bit. But that change was much more dramatic for you than what you let on. You made some big shifts in what you opened yourself to and what you let go of. Is that something that you're willing to share?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So basically, I was raised in the household of two people that met in seminary school. So we're looking at, I am the youngest daughter of two reverends, and this is what they did, and this is what the household was about. We were not, I was very, very sheltered, and like what I watched on TV was screened. I was not allowed to listen to what they referred to as secular music. It had to be the music of the faith. I happened to be the one that they chose to, or the light was on me, or my calling. I'm the one that is going to carry on the torch in this long line of spiritual leaders. And so they wanted me to do it in a certain way, which is under their Christianized belief system. And although I love Christians and everything, one of the things that I struggled with was the idea that I was not allowed to be curious. I was not allowed to ask questions. I was not allowed to question authority. I was not allowed to question my parents. And oh my goodness, do not question how God or the Bible. But see, if you look at it, it's like, but there are many different interpretations of these. To me, the divine reveals itself to us in whatever way that we can deeply understand. So at the age of 15, I started asking questions. Now, in that context, I'm going to throw down something that maybe some of you might identify with. I was ostracized. I was ostracized by the church, by my family. My parents said, don't believe her, because we believe that the devil came into her mind and made her ask questions or question authority, which was a big sin. So this threw me by the age of 17. So we're talking about 2 years from 15 to 17, living in the basement of my house. Upstairs, there's prayer meetings for my soul. So I get the redheaded, the redhead type of a thing. I was told the same thing. And by the time I graduated from high school, right close to my birthday, I woke up one morning and they said, here's $200 and a truck outside. We need it back in 2 hours. So figure out what you're going to do. Get out of the house. Don't come back. That caused me to become suicidal. I mean, I was thinking I shouldn't be here. If the biological family that is supposed to, the mother and the father and the God that you've been worshiping, all turn their back on you, and you have $200 and a moving truck. I mean, that's harsh. So I left that and I moved into the world. And it was really difficult because, when people would be talking about famous TV shows or famous, musicians, I'd be like, who's that? I mean, I was really, really, really difficult. I had to be a really quick study. And so, yeah, there was a lot of huge shifts. At this point in my life, I'm not telling you this to get sympathy. I'm kind of telling you this so that you can, if there's something going on in your life, you don't feel as alone. My parents do not know that I'm an author. They don't know about my awards, and I'm fine with that. I am fine with that, but I honor and respect them. And it's almost like this concept. There's a concept that floats around, maybe I chose the parents that I was born to. And I think, well, if that be true, I can actually understand why I chose them. And it wasn't because my soul needed a mother or a father. It's because my soul needed Christian leadership from my formative years, or spiritual leadership from my formative years, so that I can I'm doing what they said I was going to do. I'm just doing it in my way, my authentic way. So yeah, kind of heavy, but if you're going through something like that, any listener that's going through something like that, you're not alone. You can make it through to the other side. And how I would say my guiding light through all of that darkness was my curiosity, my sense of curiosity. I was curious about beautiful stones, and I was curious about magical candles. I was curious about, the natural world. I was curious about all of these different practices. And it's just like that curiosity led me home to myself.
Wow. Thank you for sharing that. I do hope that is helpful to someone here, because I know when you hit those points where it feels like there is no power from the outside, that power has to come from within, and it is possible. We're going to talk a lot more about that and other stuff, but now we got to take a quick break and listen to some important information that you need to know from our sponsors here on Witch Hat Chats.
Behind the door, and ye shall find the return of the Barebone Trio. See no evil, hear no evil, and speak no evil, skeletons. This Barebone Trio reminds us not to take life too seriously and shows us the sense of humor we all have. Each one crafted with specific detail and are great for the Day of the Dead, your Ancestor altar, Halloween, Samhain, Hecate, and the possibilities are limitless. And there is so much more in our wicked store to help you to embrace the power of your own magic. So come on in to Moonlight Potions and Charms at www.moonlightpotionscharms.com and discover the wicked things that ignite the magical passion in you.
At Witch Hat Chats, we promote magical knowledge, arts, and music from all cultures. We invite you to join us as our guest to share your practice, especially if your traditions are lesser known. Email us at witchhatchats@gmail.com. Tune in every Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on our Facebook page.
And welcome back to Witch Hat Chats. And Saul and I are speaking with Granddaughter Crow. All right. You know, the one thing I am kind of curious about, because it is October, and of course, the veil is very, very. I'm curious as to how is it that I know each and every culture is kind of different when it comes to communicating with their ancestors. Is there a particular way that the Navajo communicates with their ancestors? I'm just kind of curious.
So I think that that's an awesome question. And I think that the answer would have been different pre-1930. The Navajo, from what I have observed, tend to be a hyper sensitive towards talking about ancestors. So what I will do is not speak on behalf of them, but speak on behalf of myself and my DNA memory. The beauty is I have in my house an ancestor room. And I have the ancestor altar. And every full moon and new moon, I light a candle on the ancestor altar. The way that I see it is that we stand on the shoulders of our ancestors. I also see that my ancestors aren't merely human. I say that my ancestors are Mother Earth, the trees, you know, all of the dinosaurs, you know. So when I talk ancestor, I go big. And the beauty is that for me, this is why they call me Granddaughter Crow, is to honor my ancestor, my grandfather. And my spirit dances around like the crows and the ravens. And I never was able to meet him in the physical realm because he passed when my father was like 14 years old. But I met this, I was doing meditation and I met this Native American man. And I would meditate every morning and he would teach me something every day. Every single day, he'd teach me something. And then all of a sudden, I'm like, after like about a year, I'm like, is that my grandfather? And he just laughs. So I'm like, I learned a lot of my medicine from my grandfather with the thin veil, which of course, some of us, I mean, the veil thins and I love it, but for some of us, the veil is always thin, right? The veil is always thin, but it does intensify with the changing of the season and everything. So when I look at ancestors, I look at the trees, I look at my grandfather, I look at the moon. The moon is something that I absolutely love. Obviously, I have the moon right here. And I'm just like, that moon has seen everything since the beginning of time, you know? And so I look up to the moon and I'm like, that is my ancestor too. So yeah, I love ancestors.
Well, you know, it's just like with me, every time I see a hummingbird, it reminds me of my granny. She loved hummingbirds.
Yeah.
She absolutely loved them.
Yeah.
And so it just reminds me of my granny every time. So I've donated money to, you know, to save the hummingbirds and stuff.
Yeah,
So.
I love that. I love that. And it's a very common ritualistic practice to have our ancestors visit us in some form, like a bird or something like that, or give us feathers or things like that, and or a butterfly, you know, and you know, this is kind of what I like to say is that, you know, if you are experiencing that where you're like, is this right? You can literally consciously go, grandmother, if this be you, give me a sign of the bud or the hummingbird. And maybe it's a hummingbird that flies past you. Maybe it's a hummingbird that you see on Facebook. Maybe you see it on a movie, but inevitably that connection is there so that you can get your confirmation. So I absolutely love that. I love that. When my husband's sister passed away, she came at him through a hummingbird and just like flew up to his ear. And he's like, oh my goodness, and then disappeared. And it's just like, okay, I guess she made it across the veil, you know, guess she did it. So I love it. I love that kind of magic.
Yeah, I was actually taught that if you see an animal, it doesn't matter whether it's physical or it's on like television or it's in a cartoon or you smell it or, you know, whatever it is, it could be a feather or that animal is trying to tell you something. So you need to go look it up, you know, each and every time. And so that's what I do. That's the reason why I have all these big dictionaries on what they mean.
Absolutely. Or maybe it'll come to you in your dream, you know, that type of thing. And so that actually what we're talking about is, you know, this is the award-winning from the Coalition of Visionary Resources that I won the gold for, and it's Wisdom of the Natural World, Spiritual and Practical Teachings from Plants, Animals, and Mother Earth. And in this beautiful book, what I have done is like I take, like you were saying, I have a chapter about animals and how we dialogue with them, how they can communicate with us, and to kind of set, you know, people up to be able to go, it is saying this to me, you know, or, oh, I thought so, and get a little bit more empowered. I also do it with plants, etc. But it's not just about going, wow, I'm being watched over. Moreover, to your point, you know, Miss Nikki, is that we read about it and then we do something, we take action, you know, we apply it. So a lot of times, this book will help you, the reader, to understand how to apply the wisdom, then the message from that animal to relationships and romance, to business and finance, to health and well-being, which are the three major questions that are asked and we're curious about. So yeah, I absolutely 100% agree. I was doing something magical yesterday in my office space, and I went outside, and there flew a hawk over my head and sat there, and I was like, okay, I guess it worked. You know, I guess that magic worked.
We talk a lot on this show about the Wheel of the Year. Samhain being the sort of tipping point of the year, and then everything begins again. Your book, Belief, Being, and Beyond, I notice is organized in, I guess, what you would call the Wheel of the Day, which is a much shorter cycle.
Right.
And so I'm interested in, do you see this evolution, the spiritual evolution, as something that cycles, that you don't just do it once, you do it many times? And does it really happen so frequently? How did the day imagery come in for you with this?
Yeah, I love it. I absolutely love that question. I'm kind of choosing which way do I go, because I could talk a long time on that. But what I'll say is that when you look into the natural world, all you see is cycles. That's what you see. You see patterns, you see cycles. And the day came in for me because in the book, I'm talking about awakening, like spiritual awakening. And so I relate that to the physical waking up in the morning and the similarities between those two and how different people awake in different ways in the physical realm and in the spiritual realm. And then I go into this concept of enlightenment. And enlightenment seems like noon, right? When there's the most light. And so, and we physically know what that feels like to be noontime. And that might give us more signals around what our spiritual enlightenment might be like. And then being in the evening time, that's a time that we are just like, put your feet up, you know, whatever it is. And then, and it's much like relaxing in the evening and then going into the nighttime when you fall asleep, that's becoming. And then tomorrow is the beyond. So I really kind of did this shorter cycle in the book to help people literally embody the concept because they can relate it to the physical waking up in noon and evening and night. I also love the Wheel of the Year. I too celebrate the Wheel of the Year. And, but there's also a bigger wheel. I mean, we're talking micro. Let's go a little bit more macro. Let's say the wheel of your life. You know, you've got your child, you got your birth, you got your childhood and adolescence, you've got your adult works, and then you have your elder years. And when I look at these beautiful circular patterns, it helps me to trust that circle. I might not know what the next stage is for me, but I know that it continues, whatever that means. It continues. And one more thing that I'd love to throw down here. So my husband has a green thumb, and he says, do you know that one of our days is 1 year tree time? So we wake up, we grow, we stretch, we grow, then we put ourselves back to sleep in 1 day. The tree wakes up in the springtime, it grows during the summer, it starts falling asleep in autumn, and then it's nighttime. So it's kind of like when you play with time and looking at that different things have different timing around it, it really shows this beautiful pattern. So yes, I love circles. I love circles. I love cycles. I love patterns, you know, but I will also say one more thing is that a lot of times when we're looking at a circle, we're thinking of like a two-dimensional type of a thing. But I also like to look at a circle as like instead of like this, I kind of look at it like this. And I realize in my life, it's a spiral, you know, so I may revisit a time in my life in the winter, but I'm in a different position or at a different plane within that. So spirals and circles, I love it all. I want to write a poem now. My little witch wants to write a poem about spirals and circles and seasons and Urkels. I don't know.
Very nice.
I love it.
So these
Absolutely.
aspects of the day, I mean, you've delineated them out and you just described them very well. Are these modes that we are in at particular times, or are we in multiple levels of this at the same time? Are there layers of this experience?
Yeah. Excellent question. I would say that just like within the day and the season, one awakening experience may step forward or be an overarching umbrella in your life. However, we are multidimensionally faceted experience and energy and everything. So if you want to think, oh, I'm going to go through this pattern like this, and that's the most beneficial for you, game on. I am doing all of them simultaneously, I would say. There's parts of me that are waking up. There's parts of me that are reaching enlightenment. There's parts of me that are going to sleep. There's parts of me that are elder. There's parts of me that are child, you know? And so for me, I kind of look at it like a diamond, you know, shine bright like a diamond, that so many multifaceted, and it depends on the light refraction that maybe something will pop out like, oh gosh, I'm in a new day. You know, well, maybe I need to do this. And then another aspect of my life might be in a different place. But yeah, so I would say we're as multifaceted as we can understand and or dream.
Yes, we are very complicated people. And you know, I try and that explains, because every time I try to simplify myself, it doesn't work.
Go figure. Yeah. I mean, sometimes you can look at things simplistically through a certain lens, and it'll make sense. But then when you step back, you realize, oh gosh, I have a lot of lenses. You know, I have a lot of lenses. I'm experiencing all of this phenomenon. That's what we do. We experience phenomenon, right? And then we assign meaning to that phenomenon. So I experience some sort of, you know, I'm hungry, and then I assign meaning to, oh, well, it's dinner time, which means that I need to invite the family together. And I create the story around phenomenon. And so sometimes, you know, when we are going through life, we need to check our meaning machine. What story are we putting on the phenomenon that just happened? And sometimes you can make, by adjusting your story or adding a little bit of that like witchy poo magic to it, you can change what you're experiencing. And from the inside out, like if you want a hero, be the hero that you're looking for. If you want to see change, be the change you're looking for. If you want people to be open and honest and real with you, be that. Start here. Magic doesn't always do this. Magic for me goes like this, and then I work with the tools and I produce, you know, but it all comes from here in that little witchy poo. I'm calling it witchy poo. Is that acceptable to call my little witch a witchy poo?
Yeah.
That works for me.
Honey, whatever gets you through the day, I don't care.
I love it.
Can you do the witchy poo laugh? There's like 3 people on this program that have any idea what that just meant.
I love it.
Kids these days.
Yeah, you know, because we always say that, you know, you don't need any tools. You don't need any special cloths. You don't need an altar. You don't need anything, because magic starts with you. That's where it starts with.
Yeah.
You know, when we first start to learn, we got to have the perfect altar. We got to have that perfect pinnacle. We got to have that magic wand. And you know, even I guess even when I first started, I rarely use a wand, because I was always taught that's a tool and that using the point. No, use your finger. Use your finger, like this. You can use this one too if you need to.
I love it. This is your wand. Absolutely. This is your wand.
This is the best one, but you can use this one if you need to.
I love it.
But because you are the magic.
Yeah.
The wand isn't the magic. The pentacle isn't the magic. You are the magic.
Yes. I agree. I agree. I agree. You know, it's interesting because I kind of said earlier that the divine reveals itself to each individual in different ways, you know? And so I think it has to do with, what does your inner child want to do? Are you one who is, you know, playful, and you go into your kitchen and you're just like, oh, well, I don't want that in my life. I'm going to write that word on my thing. I'm going to put pepper on it or something like that, or I'm going to put it in the freezer. And then there's some that literally their inner child wants some sort of like a ceremony, doing it exactly the same way. So if that's your jam, then let that be your jam. But at the end of the day, like Miss Nikki said, it's about your inner child's expression, because you are the magic. You are the magic. And if you feel like you're being more playful because of a ceremony that's so specific, fine, but don't get caught up in the ceremony where you stop having fun, because then it doesn't work, right?
Right. And with that, we are going to take a short break and listen to these messages from our sponsor and be right back with the Witch's Cast.
Have you heard? People are raving about Moonlight potions and charms with 5-star reviews. 5 stars for excellent products, amazing services, and fast shipping. We are an Etsy star seller. Listen to some of our reviews. Author and owner of Wicked Witch Studios, Dorothy Morrison said, I'm in love. The Marie Laveau altar on the go is absolutely amazing and jam-packed with everything one could possibly need, no matter what sort of magic they're planning. Kudos on a great product. Jess said, absolutely love the Papa Legba prayer candle. I've been hunting for a good Papa Legba candle forever with zero success, and I adore this one. High Priestess said, adorable wooden coffins. Can't wait to use them. And Angelica said about our Ancestor oil, exceeding my expectations. Packaged with love and smells amazing. Definitely recommending and buying again. Make sure to check out our Bubbling Cauldron Bath Bombs, available in Luck of the Irish, Lavender, and Dragon's Blood. Our magical milk baths are also available in Papa Legba Purification, White Flowers, Lucky Love, and Van Van. All are homemade and spelled with love, care, and intention. Our Happily Ever After candle line is designed with you in mind. There is so much more in our Wicked store to help you to embrace the power of your own magic. So come on in to Moonlight Potions and Charms at www.moonlightpotionscharms.com and discover the wicked things that ignite the magical passion in you. Are you at a crossroads? Not sure which direction to go? Or do you feel powerless? Or is there another question that needs answering? At Moonlight Potions and Charms, our many services assist our clients to emerge their authentic selves and embrace the power and magic that lies within them. Many of our readings provide the clarity one needs to pursue their life's destiny. Our soulful readings assist one to discover what is required to be in alignment with one's soul journey. Our tarot readings provide clarity and coaching for those who are at a crossroads in life. Our animal medicine readings show what our animal brothers and sisters can teach you about yourself and your life. Unsure where to start your shadow work? Book a shadow reading. There is so much more in our Wicked store, so visit us at www.moonlightpotionscharms.com and embrace the power of your own magic.
welcome back to Witch Hat Chats. I am Saul Ravencraft. I am here with Miss Nikki, Kirby, and of course, Granddaughter Crow. It's time for our Witches Cabinet, where we dig into something practical. We were talking during the break about concepts like cultural appropriation and that sort of thing. And one of the things that I think is very clear here is we're given the opportunity to share some ideas about spiritual connection and spirituality. And she wouldn't offer it to us if she didn't want us to to experience it. So don't feel fearful about how this is going to be. This is a gift for all of you to broaden yourself, to go beyond, just like what we were talking about. And so what have you got for us, Granddaughter Crow?
Awesome. So the first thing that I would like to say to the listener is that when you're thinking of doing a practice more on a natural world basis, then what you want to do is think about the East. What happens in the East? Well, the sun comes up in the East, which means it's the beginning, right? So when a lot of times, like with a traditional hogan, your door faces the East because you need to begin. So your door faces the East. My headboard faces the East because I want to sleep in that direction. So if it is conducive to you to rearrange your room or whatever, sleep with your head to the East. Although these may be big type of concepts, what I will say is this one is truly powerful and intentional. When the sunlight touches your skin, speak your day. When the sunlight touches your skin, speak your day. So it's kind of like, be intentional. When you go outside and that sun hits you, it's a brand new day. So be like, today is a powerful, magical day. Today I am going to have courage. Today, da-da-da-da-da. And doing this practice, or if you're like, today I'm going to keep my mouth closed, then just kind of go out into the sun and don't say a word. It'll help you to keep your mouth closed on that day. You know, if you're just like, no, I'm not in the right environment to be all opening my mouth, I'm going to, they don't want to hear it. Or not. I mean, I love giving people voice and sharing and learning, but when the sun touches your skin, speak your day. Even if you are a night owl and you're coming out of the house at noon or whatever, speak your day. When the sun touches your skin, speak your day. Speak your day. I would also say that in the evening, now the sun is in the west. So now it looks like it's going down. We're coming to a close. We're coming to an ending. So show gratitude for that day. Pick a few things in that day that you are grateful for, and then, of course, energy comes in from the south and it releases through the north. That's a very traditional Navajo way of thinking. I would also say that whatever you do with intention. Oh, here's another one. Make your bed. Make your bed. Because they say that if you get up and do not make your bed, the old hag will pull you back into bed and you will not have a productive day. So you have to make your bed. And really, if you think about it conceptually, it's just like, oh, we're talking about working with the natural world, with the directions, with the sunlight and moonlight, with ourself and our self-discipline in order to have an intentional day. So those are a couple of fun little ideas. So you don't have to move your bed. You don't have to go buy a house with a door to the east, that type of thing. My door actually is to the south. So, that's fine. But be intentional with your day, working with the sun and the directions. What does that mean to you? What does it look like to you? You know, you could also, another fun thing, I don't know if this is Navajo, but it's something I do. I get a journal and I go sit under a tree and I just breathe. I think that I'd love to do this. You know, I invite you to put your fingertips together and breathe in through the nose for a few counts, hold it within the body, and then release through the mouth. Do that a couple of times, in through the nose, hold that breath, release through the mouth, and one more time. Then go sit under a tree. You go sit under a tree and you simply observe. You observe. What's the weather? What comes into your sight? Is there a butterfly? Is it a leaf on the ground? Did you see a squirrel? And then just write about it. And then write what meaning it means to you. If you want to expand that practice, go sit under that tree in the morning, at noon, and in the evening, and see how the natural world changes itself during one given day. If you want to expand that practice, go sit under that tree for a year in the different seasons and see what that tree is experiencing. And it will bring you more into yourself. I think one of the things that I would say is that we talk so intelligently about all of our confusion, but do you know what you know in your body? Do you know what you know in your body? And so a lot of times we're just all up in here, and you know, I'm like multitasking, getting nothing done, driving fast, going nowhere. And it's like, slow down. Really? Yes, sit under the tree. And maybe the tree will say, you and I are one. You and I are one. So stand tall. Let go of your leaves or your ideas at a certain time in your life. Just let it go, because new ones will grow. And if you are growing your business or your practice or anything like that, know this: it takes time to grow a tree, right? So if you're growing something and it's taking a lot of time, doesn't mean that the god and the goddesses are shining on you. Maybe you're growing a freaking tree, right? And, you know, of course you can do like little magical things, and you're growing like little carrots or little weeds or whatever, and they grow really fast. And you're like, yay, I proved that I'm a magical being because I manifested fast. It's like, that doesn't really prove that you're a magical being. It means that you produce something small and quick that is easily taken out too. So grow the tree. I think there's so many magical wisdoms from all mythologies and all walks of life that say, okay, humans, five-fingered, go sit under that tree and remember who you are. That's what I would say. What do you guys think about that?
I like it. I really do. It really is about the connection, and it's something that we cover a lot on this program is the idea of overlap between people's spirits and practices and nature, and how everything is bigger than us, and we have power that we can employ, and it is real power. It is mighty power that we can employ as individuals, and yet none of us actually run the universe. We all do these things in harmony, and you know, the baby witch will want to do something that, not going to say it can't be done, but it's going to require a lifetime of will and focus and dedication that you may not have the patience for. right? But not going to say it can't be done. But
Right.
as you mature in your path, you realize that a lot of the things that you wanted to manipulate from
Right.
youth are foolish, are not useful, and that being in harmony with those things is much more productive, much more valuable than having your way. And that's exactly what you're talking about: growing the tree, being the tree. So yeah, I love that perspective. I definitely want to learn more about what you're putting out there. I think it definitely resonates with my own path.
I love it. I absolutely love it. You know, another thing that I like to do is say that imagine if you were a plant. Take a moment. What kind of plant pops into your mind? You can change your mind tomorrow. You can change your mind in 10 minutes. What kind of a plant pops into your mind? And then think about the environment that that plant needs in order to grow. So if a weeping willow pops into your mind, know that you probably need a very emotionally attuned environment because of the water. Let's say that an evergreen popped into your mind. That tells me that you're the type of individual who constantly is green, always producing. You're always, and you can take the cold. But if a palm tree pops into your mind, then you need a warm environment in order to grow. Then the next step is think of a person in your life. What kind of a tree do they remind you of? And what kind of environment do they grow in? And then it helps us to bridge those I'm different because we're both trees, but maybe we need different environments in order to flourish.
Is it a problem if a Dr. Seuss tree is what popped into my head first?
I love it. I love it. Nothing is ever a problem with Dr. Seuss. Absolutely, absolutely, and that's very fun and playful and animated and useful and just almost like what I would call the Ravencraft game of life. The Ravencraft game of life.
There
Love
you
it.
go, Saul. You need to make that and
There you go.
and just go ahead and distribute that. There you go.
It's a game. It's a game where you just keep going back to the start.
Yeah.
Over and over again.
And you
Yeah.
sell it during October. There you go.
Yeah, absolutely. I love it. I love it. And so it is with all of us that however the natural world speaks to you, let it speak to you. I say a tiger does not speak English, but if you look at a picture of a tiger, it speaks volumes, and allow it to speak with you. What is it saying to you? Because maybe that's a message that you need to hear. Another thing, this one's good. I don't know who in your audience this might benefit. If you're struggling with something, a situation, whatever it is, go outside and find a rock or a stone that kind of reminds you of the situation. Maybe it's jagged or something like that. I mean, don't hurt yourself and not too big, you can just pick it up and put it in your hands. And then the next time you are by natural moving water, like a little lake or a river, sit by there and hold that and put all of the energy into that situation or event or whatever. Put all of the energy that you can into that rock. And when you're ready, throw it into the moving water and walk away. Walk away. Because you know, people say, but Granddaughter Crow, you know, I don't want to give my crap to Mother Earth. You know, I respect Mother Earth. I don't want to give my crap to Mother Earth. And I'm like, honey, manure grows roses. Mother Earth knows how to transmute that. Manure grows roses. She's a lot tougher than you think. So give your crap over to her, ground and center, and move, because the beauty of it is that energy flows where consciousness goes. That's quantum physics, and it's very magical. Energy flows where consciousness goes. So wherever you place your consciousness, energy will flow to that spot. It's Miss Nikki is nodding her head, and I'm like, I want to hear what you just thought of, because I just saw a big old head nod.
You know, I was thinking about stress balls. And when you were saying that, and you were saying about, you know, taking the stress, you know, taking the stress ball and whatever, you know, making you stress. And I was thinking about taking that rock and using, putting all your energy to it. And I'm like, yeah, I'm throwing it at the person.
I love it because, you know, it's like the whole practice of laying on of stones, and it's like, oh, you can place them at different points of your body and they can heal you in different ways. And if that doesn't work, then throw it at the people who caused you to be like that.
Yeah. And I never understood why they call it a stress ball. And then they say you don't throw it at people. Like, well, what's the point?
I love it. I absolutely love it. What's its use then? I'm just supposed to go like this? I mean, that's so much more effective, right? Straight into the point. Straight into the point. I love it.
Yeah, and give me another one, because I might have missed the first time.
Yeah, cheaper by the dozen, you know? Just go buy a bunch of stress balls. I love it. I love it. It's beautiful.
Well, thank you so much, Granddaughter Crow. So where can our people reach you?
Well, yeah, all you need to do is remember Granddaughter Crow. It honors my grandfather. Yes, I am a grandmother. Most, you know, First Nation people refer to the elders, because I am an elder, even though I have pigtails, right? I still am an elder. I earned this. But Granddaughter Crow, www.granddaughtercrow.com. Follow me on social media. You know, you pull up, if you Google Granddaughter Crow, it's all my stuff, my books on my website. You can find my books. I do one-on-one sessions. I've got a live stream called The Circle that I do every Sunday. Go check it out if that just perks your ear. Like, what is that? Just go check it out. But at the end of the day, what I would really love to relay to your listeners is be you. Be yourself, because nobody else can do that. Only you can. Only you can be you. So do it up and play and have fun and be curious and throw stress balls.
All right. Well, thank you so much for being on the show.
My honor.
Well, that's all for our show today. So join us next week for our Witch Hat Chat special edition. Be prepared to go where no one has ever dared to go before. Many people have tried, but all have failed. For Miss Nikki said, and I quote, I owe it to our Witch Hat Chat viewers to take on this very special mission. As I said, hell yeah, let's do it. So you're going to follow me next week as I venture into the depths of the Texas Mojo Man's mind. Woohoo! We're going to have some fun next week. So ladies, Those are our rights that no one gives away or takes away from us because we are not property. So make sure you let these men know and understand this. So vote these wannabe slave owners out of office. All right? So make sure you wear your mask and you get your vaccinations and your boosters and support the people that are helping you. And keep your fuzzy babies, your family, and yourself safe. And have an absolute magical week.
I know some people who like to chat. I think they're witches, how about that? And every Sunday at 12 o'clock. And if you're hurting, they're willing to talk. Nikki, Kirby with that black stone. I agree, Evermoving We Rise. Life and soul with a beautiful mind. I'll give you blessings under moonlight. I know some people who like to chat. I think they're witches, how about that? And every Sunday at 12 o'clock. And if you're hurting, they're willing to talk.